why everyone is quitting social media. Yeah, I can see this. I see this reflected in my life. I see fewer and fewer people engaging on social media. Every now and then people might post maybe once or twice a month to just kind of do an update and maybe show that they're on a trip or a major milestone or event. But outside of that, people just don't even see it as worth it to post on social media. And ironically enough, I post the most and engage with the most of the least socials of social media, and that's YouTube. I post on YouTube, but outside of YouTube, I don't really post anywhere else. I like to watch videos on YouTube because I like to see people do cool things, and I like to hear ideas over the long form, and I think that's unique to YouTube. I don't think that's replicated on any other platform. So I enjoy YouTube, which ironically enough is the least social of all of the social medias.
Gone through one of the most dramatic transformations since it began. The platforms that once promised connection, community, and a voice for everyone have devolved into something much more harmful.
Right.
Viral stunts, immature pranks.
Yeah, and when the prank niches became scripted, I think it took away a lot of the authenticity. And I think that's the story of social media. As things became more about the ads and looking good, it took away a lot of the authenticity, and it kind of took the social out of the social media, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you'll go on Instagram, and you don't even see people that you even know anymore. They just show you the most appealing person to try to pump as many ads and to keep you on the app as long as possible, but you don't have anything invested into those people like people you may know, and that's how it used to be in the past. People used to take pictures to show cool things. Now people just take pictures to show themselves, and even our individual pictures have become more scripted. You hardly even see any not purposeful pictures on Instagram now. Every picture on Instagram is purposeful and is usually to show you that somebody has a better life than you.
Choreographed dances, also heightened levels of anxiety, depression, and the disruption of the very fabric of society. I want to explore why social media has gotten so much worse recently, and the quiet but growing rebellion against it that has the very architects of the system on edge.
Good, fuck them.
This video is sponsored by Headspace. More about them later. So I think we can learn a lot about the problems with social media today by looking at how Instagram promotes its own app.
Okay.
If you go to the login page, it says, sign up to see photos and videos from your friends.
Okay.
What a load of shit.
Exactly.
Anyone that uses Instagram knows this just isn't true.
Right.
It is far from the content machine it's become. But it does give us a clue into the challenges this company and every social media platform is facing today, and why the distance is growing between what people want and what they're getting. Jack Conte, the co-founder and CEO of Patreon, has spent years thinking about the economics of the internet and has seen from the front lines just how drastically social media has changed since it was first introduced.
And I think one of the biggest changes is that everything is so entertaining that it makes almost nothing entertaining, if that makes any sense. Things are done so well and produced so well and so purposeful now that when you see it, it just appears dull because it looks like everything else, if that makes any sense. It being so perfect and so good almost just makes it blend in with everything else.
Jack, thank you so much for being here. Question number one, what the happened to Instagram?
Oh man, I love that question.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what happened. Web 2 sort of emerged in like 2005. Web 2 companies were like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah.
The amazing thing
What about MySpace? What about Bebo? Cool websites. Remember Newgrounds? Remember when the internet was a place you come and it just seemed like this new thing where it was expansive and there was so many different things. Like, remember the game Ray? Like the game, it was just so cool. You had these like arcade games on Newgrounds, and it just seemed like the internet was almost infinite and had like a certain level of potential. And in just a few years, now it's just only about like 5 major companies. It's like Google, but Google owns YouTube, and then Facebook, but Facebook owns Instagram. And it's like, it's only a few real websites that people actually engage with anymore. I just think that that's interesting. Something that was so infinite and had such an infinite potential just got concentrated into like 6 different websites.
Web 2 was you could like subscribe to a creator. You could follow them, and then you would see the rest of their work as it came to you in the future. This was a new thing. Before Web 2, the internet was mostly read-only. Like you log in via AOL or something, and you like can just like read the news. But the amazing thing about Web 2 was, for the first time, like people could upload, they could share, they could like broadcast their ideas. And the most profound piece of internet architecture came out of that time, was this thing called the follow.
As Jack explained it, the follow gave you the power. You decided who you liked, who you wanted to hear from, and who you wanted to fill your feed. It felt like your corner of the internet, a personalized space built around real connections and genuine interest.
Yeah, it made it much more customizable, yeah.
I only subscribe to people and watch videos that make me happy, inspire me, make me feel positive, uplift me.
But that version of social media didn't last.
Oh, but that positivity doesn't keep you on the app for as long. So the apps are now ran by these algorithms that just want to keep you on the app. And the best way to keep you on the app is to show you something that makes you angry, and that causes division. But there's nobody that stays on the internet longer than somebody who's going in a comment battle, screaming into the void against another person who is opposing them. You come back onto the app just to make sure they didn't message you back so you can send something back to them and see who gets the most likes. Those are the most engaged people. People who have rage. So rage bait is a huge part of this this push.
The idealistic vision was great for users, but not for investors. Once these platforms went public, they faced a new challenge. How do you turn connection into profit? We all know what happened next. Social platforms started to run ads, and ads made them a lot of money. So they scaled the model. Grow larger, show more ads. Get more users, show more ads. Hold users' attention for longer, show more ads. Get more data on who your customer is, their hopes, fears, and dreams. Sell more expensive ads.
Right.
The customer of Facebook is the advertiser. What the advertiser wants from consumers is attention. And what Facebook has built is a machine that converts attention into revenue.
Well, anything that's promoted to you as free is going to come with some cost, even if you don't see it. And part of what they're taking is people's time.
That is the Facebook machine. Everything about the financial system is set up to hold Facebook accountable for revenue growth.
Yeah, you're literally paying with your attention. You're paying attention. You're paying with your attention.
What that does is it aims the entire financial system, hundreds of years of financial infrastructure. It aims that entire system of accountability and discipline at sucking attention away from humanity. That's the problem. That is the problem.
Right.
You say these things like they are my fault, and yet they are not.
Well, you did create a platform with a monetary incentive for people to spread misinformation.
Bo Burnham recently summed it up well.
Like, what's interesting is that Elon Musk recently did an update on X where you can see where people are posting from, and I just thought that was interesting because you've seen in the black community there's been this huge divide amongst the men and the women, and like a lot of these hate channels that are promoted and pushed to women that say like, oh, you should abort black babies and all these other evil things. A lot of those accounts actually were coming from India, so they weren't even black women. A lot of those accounts were coming from people in India that were incentivized to try to get as much attention as possible, and rage baiting was a good way to do that. So they were just farming attention, essentially. And so they were psyoping the community so they could, like, farm black folks. Like, essentially, literally a cash cow, right? By just trying to get more engagement on X.
Tech companies aren't satisfied with just a piece of your time. They want it all.
They are now trying to colonize every minute of your life. That is what these people are trying to do. Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you. That's what's happening.
Yeah, they want to take your time, and in my opinion, if you don't own your time, you don't really own anything.
When the biggest tech companies in the world are competing for your attention, they'll design features that exploit every human vulnerability they can find. Even the smallest change can have a really big impact, like infinite scroll. No, not a never-ending pastry, something much more nefarious. Before this feature existed, websites had pages, natural breaks that let you decide whether to keep going or to stop.
That's
In
a great
2006,
point.
interface designer Asa Raskin came up with an idea to replace those breaks with a never-ending feed. What seemed like a small improvement quickly became one of the most influential changes in how we use the internet today. Without a
it
stop.
went from a restaurant to a buffet where you can keep consuming, and unlike the body that gets full, the mind can also get full, so much so that it doesn't retain anything anymore, but it just feels different, right? Like, because I would go on TikTok, and through that infinite scroll, like I said earlier, I'm a curious person. I like to learn things, and you can learn things on TikTok. The problem is, though, that you'd go for 3 hours, and there's so many different context switches that by the end of it, you just have a brain fog. Like but that's what the overconsumption, similar to how you might get the itis from eating too much. It's like the overconsumption to your mind. I never thought about that, but that
in
makes
an endless
sense.
stream of content, this simple feature can quietly steal hundreds of hours from your life every year. Asa himself says he regrets creating it.
I was blind to how it was going to get picked up and used not for people, but against people.
Of course.
And this is actually a huge lesson for me, that me sitting here optimizing an interface for one individual is sort of like, that was morally good. But being blind to how it was going to be used globally was sort of globally amoral at best.
Yeah, well, you got to look at it. I mean, look at the smartphone in and of itself. You have access to the entirety of all of human knowledge, and people they use it to watch cat videos. Like the plane was made in like 1912 by the Wright brothers. And then like 20 years later, during World War II, they were dropping bombs out of them. So we have a tendency to use things that could be used for like a good and kind of just flipping them and using them against people in weird ways as humans. We just kind of have that in us. So it's not surprising that they took this guy's software. They probably paid him $1 million, but then they flipped it and made probably billions of dollars off of the idea of the infinite scroll.
Maybe even a little immoral.
In a world where apps rise and fall overnight, the social media giants have learned to move fast.
Profit doesn't care about morality, though, so it doesn't matter.
Or risk becoming the next MySpace. When a feature works on one platform, it doesn't stay there for long. It's copied, repackaged, and rolled out everywhere. We've seen this happen with pretty much every fast-growing app, from Snapchat to Be Real, and, of course,
TikTok.
Yeah, Snapchat has to be on the decline. I don't even see people using Snapchat anymore. But I'm also 30. Like, is there anything new? Is there anything new? Like, when I was, coming into this age from, like, 15 to 30, we seen Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, like all these things pop up. It's now they're like so set in stone. Are there any new ones anymore? TikTok was the latest one, but even that one's kind of aging, in terms of something new coming up.
TikTok explodes in popularity.
It's surging in popularity here in the U.S.
15-year-old Charlie D'Amelio's new favorite pastime is making up dance moves for the social media app TikTok.
Yeah. This group of 20 talented content creators is part of a growing trend of young social media stars snapping up big real estate so they can physically be together to make videos 24/7.
Yeah, we're definitely like the two most hated. Definitely
the most cringiest.
Like they literally call her Blueberry because her hair is blue.
Yeah.
And then I'm orange, so like, oh my god, the orange and the blueberry.
What has happened over the last 5 years is really profound. TikTok came onto the scene, and TikTok's major innovation, I think people think, oh, TikTok is vertical first short form video. But that's not TikTok's major innovation. I think that's a red herring.
Spyware?
What TikTok did that was truly different and innovative was TikTok said, oh, these concepts of feeds that people are using?
There were articles that came out that said that TikTok was scanning people's facial recognition to look at micro expressions to know what type of content to show them to keep them on the app for longer. Talk about dystopia. And when this artificial intelligence gets to the point where it knows human behavior and human micro expressions better than we even know them ourselves, which probably isn't far away if it isn't already has happened, that type of technology could be a big problem. There are a lot of people that aren't the brightest bulbs that could fall victim to something like that. And I think a lot of people actually already have. We've wasted a lot of time on these types of apps.
Where
at least on YouTube, you can like learn stuff.
Feed and you see people you follow. TikTok said, forget about following. We're going to rebuild your feed from scratch based on who we think you're going to like. Not who you've chosen to follow, but what the platform thinks you will spend time on. And
and YouTube has done the same thing. YouTube doesn't following is followers, subscribers on YouTube, of course, is just a vanity metric at this point. Your subscriber count doesn't matter. Your relevance comes from how many videos you put out consistently and how many views those videos get. That's how you get paid. Subscribers don't matter. I know channels that have significantly less subscribers than me that make over $100,000 a month, and I'm nowhere near there. Trust me.
You're going to optimize it for time spent.
While TikTok didn't invent the algorithmic feed, they did crack the code on virality. For years, your feed was shaped by who you chose to follow. TikTok removed that control entirely, replacing it with a feed that didn't care about your social graph. Instead, every scroll was another data point, teaching the algorithm exactly what you would keep watching.
The most successful video I have right now is like at 68 million views right now.
I'm sorry, 68 million views?
Yeah. It's just me like turning into like a monster.
Now, if it had just been TikTok that did that, we all would have just left TikTok and that would have been the end of the story. But the thing is, it worked.
Yep.
And by it worked, I mean TikTok built a very
revolutionary
consumer experience that people couldn't tear themselves out of.
Yeah,
and
it's very similar to like Snapchat. They came out with like the story, and then you had Instagram kind of took the story idea, YouTube took the story idea for a while, TikTok has the story idea. So they all just kind of recycle ideas. Obviously, Facebook has the story idea. They all recycle ideas. So the infinite scroll became implemented in all of them, and now you not even seeing the people that you subscribe or follow to is a part of almost all of them.
So traffic sort of siphoned off of Instagram and Facebook and all the other social apps and onto TikTok. And all the other social apps saw this and felt pressure to get traffic back. And the way that they did that was by also ditching the follow in their systems and by building For You feeds.
TikTok might say that its For You feed democratized the internet. Suddenly, anyone could reach millions, regardless of their follower count. And simultaneously, viewers could discover creators they'd never heard of. On the surface, it looks like a win-win. But in reality, this change had far worse consequences. In Johan Hari's best-selling book, Stolen Focus, he documents exactly what went wrong when these platforms rolled out these kinds of feeds.
The algorithm is neutral about the question of whether it wants you to be calm or angry. That's not its concern. It only cares about one thing. Will you keep scrolling? Unfortunately, there's a quirk of human behavior. On average, we will stare at something negative and outrageous for a lot longer than we will stare at something positive and calm.
Go like this. No, Mom, I'm actually seriously crying. No, I know, but go like this for the video.
Social media has turned into a model that serves the platforms more than the creators or the audience. And as a result, people are starting to turn against it, and they don't have any plans to come back.
Good.
So for me, when it comes to incorporating technology into my life, it's not about getting off the grid and living in a cave. It's about finding balance. I want technology to add value to my life, to help me find purpose, meaning, get clarity, and help quiet those late night thoughts about the rise of fascism, the collapse of the global economy, and the possibility that this country might be run by lizard people. That's where my sponsor, Headspace, comes in. It's the everyday mental health app designed to reduce stress,
this is a great video, by the way,
and boost happiness.
It's great.
And right now, you can get it for free for 60 days
Gotta
by
run
using my unique link.
Gotta run
at headspace.com/Matt Diavella. That's 60 days free.
Okay, you see,
pretty awesome deal, if I do say so myself. I started using Headspace because I was looking for a buffer between my work and my personal life. As a dad and business owner, I'm always nonstop, running from one task to the next. Headspace gives me a moment of clarity in my day, especially when I'm trying to switch gears, like from changing diapers to writing videos, or from putting my son to sleep to reading a book. My favorite tracks are for meditation. You can choose your own teacher, Andy's my guy, and set how much time you have. Even just 5 minutes can change my whole mood after a long day. They've also got tracks to help you sleep better and for focus. Perfect for studying, working, or making a YouTube video about how Mark Zuckerberg might be a lizard. Sorry, that's right. I told Headspace I wouldn't call Mark Zuckerberg a lizard in this video. He's totally a lizard. Go to headspace.com/Matt Diavella or click the link in the description below this video to get your 60-day free trial of Headspace today. Seriously, go do that now. Like, you would be an idiot not to take that deal. An idiot. Probably shouldn't call you guys idiots. It's not good form. It's really easy to romanticize the past. Social media was never this perfect beacon of civilization.
Of course not.
Early on, it gave us internet stalking, endless cringe, and yeah, a couple beheading videos. But it's gotten objectively worse. Even as we see an explosion of creativity with independent creators producing thoughtful, hilarious, and inspiring work.
But the problem is some of those independent creators are no longer independent. They have big budgets that have been bought out by big companies so that they can compete with other independent creators who have big budgets that have been bought out by big companies. So even them, they're not even independent anymore, and you can feel there's less authenticity in it once these other companies start to get involved and try to start to control what type of content that person puts out. You can damn near see the change, especially from a content creator's perspective. You can see it.
These voices are often getting drowned out by professional grifters,
But by the way, too, I'm sorry, you can't blame those people necessarily, because there are some people who are very passionate about the content they put out. They put out only a little bit of content because they're perfectionists, and those people need a sustainable budget to continue to put out that level of production value content. So having that level of consistency by signing a contract with the company that gives you a certain amount of money consistently and going into a partnership with them makes sense to some degree. So I'm not like knocking those people, but
trends, high production
it's consistent
clickbait,
money,
and AI generated content, most of which are surfacing above the people that we chose to follow in the first place. What was once pitched as a town square now feels more like reality TV on crack.
Yeah, damn sure ain't no town square anymore, because there ain't no freedom of speech on there, so it ain't no town square.
Reddit itself admitted during the FTC trial recently that just 7% of time spent on Instagram in 2025 is spent viewing content from friends.
I think social media has become less social. Like, it's more about just consuming this kind of highly commodified content.
Yeah,
and it's more about
processed food versus like wholesome whole foods.
Lifestyle aspiration, things that you are moving toward in your own life, not just like what's going on around you and how are you relating to your friends and family.
Right.
I mean, to me, that kind of removes the purpose of social media.
This trend of pushing viral content over personal connections has led to more profit in the short term, but there's a huge problem. Even though the usage numbers are still high, public sentiment is turning against TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
People are starting to hate it.
Yeah, you go, I'm not on the internet anymore, and people go, great. How did you do it? How does it feel? How is it going for you? It's like something that people are aspiring to do. It's like when people used to say, I'm preparing to run it for a marathon, or I'm preparing for a Tough Mudder or a 5K or whatever, and people are just like, yeah, that's great for you. Keep going. That's how it is now when people hear that you're not on the internet. It used to be kind of like a suspicious thing, like you don't have a Snapchat, like you're not in, kind of like you're not in the loop or in the circle. But now it's like, wow, good for you. I admire that. I actually want to try that for a little bit if I can.
In a few dark places in my life, and a lot of it was influenced by social comparison of social media.
I was getting to the point with social media where I felt completely detached from reality.
I was more irritated with my daughter. I was comparing my marriage to other people's marriage.
Yep.
I felt more insecure about my face,
Yeah,
my hair.
it's absolutely destructive to women because they're comparing themselves to women that don't actually even exist.
Body.
According to a recent poll, 2/3 of 16 to 24-year-olds think social media does more harm than good. Plus, half think that they spent too much time on it when they were younger. As journalist Gabby Hinsliff wrote, this isn't how someone talks about something they love, but how you look back on a relationship that was in retrospect making you miserable.
There's a fundamental mismatch between the way our brains are wired and this behavior of exposing yourself to stimuli with intermittent rewards throughout all of your waking hours. So it's one thing to spend a couple hours at the slot machine in Las Vegas, but if you bring a slot machine with you and you pull that handle all day long from when you wake up to when you go to bed, we're not wired from it. It short circuits the brain, and we're starting to find that it has actual cognitive consequences, one of them being this sort of pervasive background hum of anxiety.
I don't understand how the
Well, it's because our drive for novelty. So when we're bored, we fill that time, instead of allowing ourselves to be bored, which can inspire you to try something new. It can inspire you to go read a book or learn about a new idea. Now when we're bored or we have any free time or we sit down for 1 second, the first thing we all do is pull out our phones and start scrolling. We spend every waking hour trying to get that dopamine rush, and it gets you addicted to a certain level of dopamine. So now there's like no sense of peace. Right? And then there's so much information being shoved down your throat, you feel like you can't trust any of the systems that we built. Like you want to go to the hospital and you hear the vaccines are all poisonous, right? And whether it's true or not, the fact that you hear that all these systems are corrupted, now you got to learn more. And now you're like, you don't trust any of the things around you. You don't trust the medical system. You don't trust the political system and the structures that people used to be able to trust in the past. So because we can't trust any of these systems anymore, we fill up all of our time trying to be educated on them so we can stay ahead of the curve because we feel like we're always being taken advantage of. And to some degree, we're absolutely right with that type of stuff. So you do have to be more careful now than ever, especially now that the cat's out of the bag and we know a lot of these systems are actually set up to take advantage of people. But what I'm basically trying to say is that sense of boredom that can inspire you to do something different or exercise or go read a book or go hug your wife, that time is just spent like scrolling now. And that could be, I could see how that could be a big problem for your long-term
even
mentality.
Works. Like, it doesn't make sense to me because I speak to very few people that say, oh, I love Instagram. Oh, it's a joy. I open up Instagram every day and just like, it's a blast scrolling through. How does this all work? Like, why are people using these platforms if they're making them miserable?
There is a difference between what we value and what we attend to.
Well, there are a lot of people that do crack that probably don't like that they're homeless and they do crack unless they're actively doing the crack. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, you hate it and then you have one moment of resting time and you pull it out again because it's crack and it's accessible all the time. Right. So, yeah, I mean, just because something makes you miserable doesn't mean you don't still engage in it. I'm sure there are people who are alcoholics that have ruined their marriages and lost their homes and are destroying their health, but they still go back to that bottle.
That is the core of the pain we're feeling, is that we will pay attention to lots of things that aren't important to us, that don't bring our lives meaning and joy, that don't better us over the long term, that don't enable and help our brains and psyches and make us feel good and strong and better.
And that's okay to a certain degree, right? Leisure is good. Leisure, being able to relax your brain from the things that you have to do all the time is good. But there's a level that goes beyond leisure where you're just doing something to fill in your time. And I don't think that that's healthy.
We'll pay attention to all kinds of shit that is not good for us. I know what the fuck is going on. I work at Patreon. I work at a tech company. I've seen these systems from the inside. I personally had to set a time limit on Instagram on my phone to stop myself from going. I had to set a 10-minute time limit.
The people who created it can't control themselves, and we think it's smart to give it to 12-year-olds.
And I do that now. And I don't give myself more than 10 minutes. Like, I had to draw a hard line. Yeah. Because these systems are so powerful.
I remember when I did my first social media detox back in 2018, I quit all the apps for 30 days. At the time, this was still considered pretty new, if not socially unacceptable. You really felt like you were going to miss out on what your friends were up to. It's different now. Now you're only missing out on some viral trends and a quick hit of dopamine. Digital detoxes and social media cleanses aren't fringe anymore. They're everywhere. Minimalist phones and dumb apps are getting more and more popular.
Good.
Concerts and venues are asking people to put their phones in bags or cover their cameras with stickers to encourage people to be more present.
Put your f***ing phones away.
Good. And cheer it on, yeah.
Organizations
Get the people
and groups
involved,
like the Offline Club
your phone
are popping
away.
up everywhere, encouraging people to ditch their phones and be in person. And a lot more people, myself included, are going one step further and deleting these apps outright.
Yeah, we need to start socially shaming each other. Oh, you're on your phone in the middle of dinner? Gay. We need to bring that back. Gay.
Get my life back, and I feel like the only way to do this is to break up with the internet.
I've decided to basically quit social media.
No Instagram, no TikTok, no Twitter, nothing.
Do it.
I don't have social media. I'm better than you. I'm frolicking in the woods, scavenging ingredients to make my life whole.
The growing pushback and the rising dissatisfaction among users is a serious problem for social platforms. None of them want people to dislike or regret their experience, but they can't help themselves. They're caught between satisfying users and generating profit.
Investors,
And within a system built for endless growth, their choice is always going to be for the latter. The one thing that might stop them is if this pushback grows enough to hurt their bottom line.
Yeah, it's already part of the public consciousness and the public conversation. So it seems to me that we're in this pivotal moment.
Yeah, they underestimated the human spirit. The human spirit desires more than just consumption. And even though sometimes we overconsume, we have the ability through our willpower to look back and go, I don't want to engage in this anymore. And they thought that the human spirit, they could tame it by just giving us this stuff all the time, and we would just subdue ourselves to it and like good boys, right? But then we decided that no, this is not fulfilling to us. And eventually, because of the human spirit, that thing that's in us that craves something other than just monotony and that craves something other than just stimulation. There's something in us that craves a hardship sometimes, like a struggle, a workout, a good exercise, a good walk, a good conversation, a connecting friends and family, you know, like type of relationship. All of that is inside of us. And if these tools and devices stop serving us in that way, eventually people are just going to see it as something they don't want to engage in anymore.
For humans right now, if I really step back, I actually have a lot of hope. And I have hope because humanity's only been trying to figure this out for 2 decades.
Exactly.
Like, the internet is brand new. And it's pervasive and dramatic. And it represents a massive change for human communication and organization. It's gonna take humans a little while to figure that out.
Thanks so much to Jack for sitting down.
Yeah, this is a great video. And I always say this, I think cell phones are gonna be seen like cigarettes. We thought that it was okay and harmless until people started getting cancer. And now that the studies are out about how this stuff what this stuff does to you. I think more people are starting to see the side effects of it and see the cancer, and they're going to choose to stop smoking. A part of what decreased smoking for a long time is the campaigns of telling people that these were the consequences of it. And I think the social media is now going through that same phase of criticism, and I think it's a good thing. Let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or L, and give me the HBO special. As I hope brother, that was special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.